How it be, my N-words. Today, we are going to be making history for this channel because it's going to be a first for my channel and probably one of the only times I do this. And that is making a video about something positive. Yes, a video about something positive and about a creator that I actually like. Cr1tikal, aka Penguin Zero, aka the Moist Man, aka the Overlord of Orifice Plugs, aka G-Bus Man. And if you somehow aren't familiar with who Cr1tikal is, he's a YouTuber who makes commentary videos, reviews of the moist variety, gaming videos, and he's also like Mr. Poppers, but unlike Mr. Poppers, instead of having a bunch of dumb fucking birds that shit all over the house and can't even fly, he has a lot of dildos. Now, positive videos on a commentary channel are a rare thing to find and see. Not only that, but it will be a positive video about something YouTube did. Now, if you're getting off your phone right now to go take a test to see if you need hearing aids, don't, because you heard me right. I just said a positive video about something YouTube did. Not only that, but it's coming from a commentary channel, which if you guys don't know, basically the general consensus amongst the commentary community is that YouTube doing something is usually pretty fucking terrible, and I can agree with that. So because of that, what commentary channels normally do is that when YouTube makes a horrible decision, which was all they do, we make a video about how terrible YouTube's fucking decisions are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's more rare. Me, a commentary channel, making a positive video in regards to YouTube doing something, or finding porn that has humans in it on Pyrocynical's phone. It's ringing, guys. It's ringing. Hello?
Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Furry Swinger Sex Club, a magical place where surprise butt sex and unprotected furry intercourse.
Now, if you guys aren't familiar with what I'm talking about, let me catch you up to speed here. A couple of days ago, Cr1tikal made a tweet about how his video got taken down, that was 3 years old, that he got a strike for his channel, and that he would, quote, do anything to talk to @Susan Wojcicki about the policy team's refusal to communicate and explain their decisions. They have complete control over everyone's channels, but just spit in the face of creators. Now, the only thing I disagree with when it comes to this statement is that he said YouTube spits in the face of creators, which is just completely ridiculous because it's much worse than just spitting. It's like a kid asking their stepdad for a Dalmatian, but instead of getting a Dalmatian, their dad gets them a black lab plush toy covered in the dad's white pee-pee goo, okay? That's what it feels like. And also, he went into detail about why the video got taken down in the video he made about talking to Susan Wojcicki, and it got taken down due to it violating the policy on nudity, which the funny thing is, he censored the whole thing. Like, he censored all the sex scenes, so that doesn't make any sense. That would be like taking down a video that had two action figures matching each other together due to it violating the nudity guidelines. Like, it just doesn't make sense why he got his video taken down and why he also got a fucking strike. But luckily for him, the strike did get removed. However, the video is not allowed back on YouTube, which is stupid. However, what isn't stupid is that Susan Wojcicki didn't do what she normally does and slap her fat nutsack on Cr1tikal's channel with keeping the strike, or just not even a nut hair was grazed by Cr1tikal. No, instead of slamming her fat nutsack, she actually responded and wanted to talk to him. I know, guys, a first. YouTube actually trying to listen to creators. Man, 2020 is a strange year. Now, when it comes to what Cr1tikal and what the YouTube staff talked about in the call, they were allowing Cr1tikal to talk about anything and ask any question he wanted, which is a very good thing because there's no holding back. So it shows they're open to listening to creators instead of just going, yeah, we hear you, we'll try and do everything, you know, we'll try everything we can, and then they don't follow through with it. Cr1tikal also brought another friend named Matt along into the phone call, and they both asked some really damn good questions for not only the CEO of YouTube, but the heads of many other departments within YouTube itself, including the head of the YouTube policy team that I and many other people have wanted to hear YouTube respond to for the longest goddamn time. I'm so glad that they did. Like, I'm more happy than a 15-year-old boy discovering what a bottle of lotion in his hand can do when used right. The first question asked by Critical was, why does YouTube strike so many videos so frequently? Apparently, this is because the size of the team for the policy division of YouTube, and that's going to be a thing you notice when it comes to a lot of the answers YouTube gave, is that due to the size of the team, they aren't able to properly function, from what I can tell. And that's like a big problem with YouTube as a company, is the size of the team. Anyways, because of the size of the team and the number of videos on the website, they mistakenly give strikes for no reason that aren't abusing the rules. Now, when I first heard this, my first thought was, okay, why doesn't YouTube just hire more people? And then later on, I kind of realized that can't really work, because despite how many people they hire in the policy division for YouTube, it's not going to be enough to be able to correct these mistakes, because there are so many videos being uploaded to YouTube every day that despite how large the policy division could be, it wouldn't be able to properly correct those mistakes because of the amount of videos on the website. Now, when Critical heard this, he gave them a suggestion that Markiplier thought of, and I think it's a pretty good idea for YouTube to implement the system, and it's to tell the creator the section of the video that YouTube deems a violation of the policy, and then with the editing tools in YouTube that they have on the website, you can remove that section and then keep your video up and not get a strike. And YouTube apparently really liked this idea, and they're considering it, and I really hope they put it in, because it's actually a really good idea for this website. The only thing that I'm a little worried about if this is implemented is what YouTube deems removable for a video. Like, for example, let's say I want to make a joke transitioning into another part of the video, and that joke is deemed bad for YouTube's community guidelines. They tell me to remove it, I remove it, and then like the video doesn't make any fucking sense after that. Or if it's just something that was a joke and it's not offensive at all, and YouTube tells a creator to remove the joke in the video, even though it's not violating their policies. This is a minor concern of mine, so I'm not too worried about this, because actually, you know what? I think I'll talk about this now, because this was a really good question he had, and that was, why aren't YouTubers held to the same standard that traditional media is? Like, late night show hosts are able to get away with doing certain things, but smaller creators can't get away with doing the same things. Like, for example, making insult jokes about anyone they want, and YouTube's completely fine with it. But when a YouTuber makes insult jokes about anybody they want, YouTube is not okay with that. And Susan herself responded by saying that they are trying to reduce the amount of traditional media on the trending tab, and that they are trying to hold everyone to the same standard as traditional media on the platform. And she also heavily assured Critical that they do care about small creators. I think YouTube, because of that, might, right? I want to make that clear, I just said might, start holding everyone to the same standard on YouTube in regards to like insult jokes. That being, we can make insult jokes about anyone we want, or just held to the same standards in general as mainstream media is. And to be fair, I do believe that YouTube is trying to hold everyone to the same standard, because on the one hand, you got YouTubers like Diesel Patches rising in popularity, and he isn't exactly the most family-friendly content creator, and he's made some insult jokes.
What the hell is that thing? Alright, so PewDiePie is not allowed on the 2018 Rewind video, but they invited a wild fucking sea cucumber. I'm sorry, that just caught me off guard.
At the same time, you also have John Swan getting a strike for the bullying and harassment policy because he made jokes about the F word when it came to a certain feature on her face. Foreheads. But then YouTube was completely fine and okay with Stephen Cuckbear making jokes about the color of Trump's skin. However, despite that, it's still good to know that YouTube is at least trying to hold everyone to the same standard. Along with that, he also asked why the policy team doesn't talk to people on the platform. The reason why they don't do that is because, just like the striking issue, they don't have enough members on the team to communicate with everyone on the platform. And oddly enough, when this was asked, Susan was the one who came up with with a pretty good solution to fix this problem. Now you're probably thinking her solution for this was 2 cans connected to a string that stretches from the policy team to a YouTuber's house, considering this is the same woman who approved of the atrocity known as YouTube Heroes. But no, it was actually a good idea. She suggested that there should be dedicated policy members who have the job of discussing policy info with creators, so there can be like a back and forth dialogue, which that is a very good idea. Like, that could have helped a lot of creators that are sadly gone now because they got their channels deleted due to them violating the community guidelines, despite them not even violating them. Like Leafy, Mumkey Jones, and Belle Delphine temporarily, but she got her account back, so that's pretty good. Speaking of channels that got banned for no reason, another question Critical asked was, why doesn't the policy team explain itself when they make a decision? Like when they ban a certain creator, like Mumkey Jones, Leafy, or Belle Delphine when she temporarily got banned, when they didn't even violate their community guidelines. When they try to appeal that ban, most of the time what YouTube does is they just say that they're maintaining their decision and that you have to read the policies they have, despite the person reading it before they sent in the appeal to show that they weren't violating any community guidelines. Or sometimes they just don't send anything at all. They don't even inform you when your channel's taken down sometimes, which is a massive problem, obviously. And this problem is so obvious that the director of the policy team himself even recognizes the problem and admits that it's a bad thing for this website. So it's very good to know at least they're not oblivious to it and not going like, oh, we didn't know this existed the whole freaking time. Another good thing to add to that is that they are actually thinking of solutions to fix this instead of having a bot do it for them. So that's a good thing to know. However, sadly, Critical couldn't tell us what these decisions could be, but judging by the way he sounded, they're probably okay. I don't want to say they're good because I don't know what they are, but I'll just say they're okay for now and trust Charlie on this one. So in short words, they are at least thinking of ways to snip off Susan Wabinutsaki's fat nutsack so it doesn't destroy any more channels. In addition to that, he also asked why Twitter is the only way to get in contact with YouTube's policy team, and surprisingly enough, everyone at YouTube agrees that that is a bad thing and that YouTube shouldn't be using Twitter like that. It's a thing that's frustrating for both small creators and large creators, because large creators have to wait a very long time to get a response from Team YouTube if they contact them via Twitter, and for smaller channels it's bad because even sometimes when you add Team YouTube you won't even get a response because you're not as big as those other creators, so it's pretty much hopeless at that point if you're a small creator. What they are doing to try and fix it, I don't know. Critical didn't say what some of their ideas could be, but he did say they were improving stuff like the help bar on YouTube. And I mean, hey, the best outcome we could get out of this is being able to communicate with the policy team by not using Twitter, or if worse comes to worse, their solution is just tying your complaint or your message to the policy team to a pigeon's foot, and then sending it over and hoping to God it makes it there. And if that bird makes it there, and if you actually get a message back, it will be just as soulless as their tweets right now. Speaking of soulless tweets, you can also ask them why they're so bad at communicating, in which, if you don't know what he means by this, basically every time YouTube responds to a creator, it's just very like bland and it doesn't sound like it comes out of a human or anything alive for that matter. And also, YouTube isn't able to get people hyped for anything because, again, they come off as bland and no one knows why. Thankfully, though, the team recognizes that this is a problem and they are looking for ways to fix it. And I think I know the easiest solution for them. And it's a real simple one. Just get an actual person. Bam. Simple. Done. Problem ended. No, but in all seriousness, they should hire employees that have taken classes on people skills so they know how to, like, motivate people and make them hyped up for something instead of just getting some random fucking robot or whatever. And that is pretty much it when it comes to what Critical asked the CEO of YouTube and the many people that worked at YouTube, including the YouTube Punxsutawney Phil himself, the head of the YouTube policy team. I gotta say, this is probably the best decision Susan Wojcicki has made as the CEO of YouTube. We were finally able to get answers to many questions that everyone has been asking for years. It's even better to know that they're actually working on solutions to these problems that the website has. We are also able to hear some of the problems YouTube has that results in some of the issues they have in regards to the policy team. Not only that, but we got to see Susan Wojcicki doing and thinking of a good decision to fix a problem YouTube has. And I gotta say, Critical did an amazing job asking those questions because they were the ones we needed the answers to. Honestly, guys, this is probably going to be the only time you hear me say this, but I'm actually hopeful YouTube will get better in 2021. And I really do hope it does, but if it doesn't, I won't be surprised because, for God's sakes, it's YouTube.